Hi, I'm Ajene Oden, and you sent in some thoughtful questions about the market, and we're going to discuss them. Let's get started. So right now, oil prices haven't risen a lot. There's been more volatility, but if oil prices rise rapidly and they stay persistently elevated, it could have an impact on overall inflation. Now, the positive thing about inflation for the consumer is it's actually only at 2.4% on a year-over-year basis, and on a month-over-month basis is at 0.1%. But if you add in what the potential impact of tariffs are and the fact that you do have this conflict in the Middle East, potentially adding to the inflation story, it may make it a little bit more difficult for the Fed to lower interest rates. And remember, they're still trying to make it down to that 2% goal. We haven't actually seen the full effects yet. You have to remember that we had the 90-day pause in April, and then we have a pause on Chinese goods that is ending around August. So what the effects are is essentially they can have an upward pressure on inflation and essentially have a downward drag on overall growth for the economy. Essentially, it could diminish the purchasing power for consumers, and ultimately businesses could end up absorbing those costs if they don't pass it on to consumers. So when I think of AI, I think of a story from my childhood when I was in the Pinewood Derby. For those who know, with Cub Scouts back in the day, you take this wooden block, you have to make it into a car, you race other kids. The punchline in my story was the car was underweight, so they all have to be the same weight, and so there was no way I was going to catch up to my competition. And when I think of businesses that aren't even considering AI, they're going to be just like my car, underweight, while the rest of their competition is able to cut costs and generate higher revenue. And so when we think about the next phase for AI, it's continued adoption, and we think investors should really be a part of that story as this exponential growth can continue to carry returns forward for the future. To learn more, please visit chase.com/theknow.